welcome back. I know it's been a hot second, but we're back. And as you could probably tell by the title of this video, we're going to be doing a bit of a physical TBR, not unhaul, because that's when you get rid of the books, but like, we're going through the physical TBR. We're going to be working on some books that I have had for quite a while. If you're anything like me, and you've been reading since the time you were taught, you've probably amounted quite a collection of books. Not necessarily, it depends on how you consume books, but if you're like me, you've collected quite a library. And there's some books that you said you were gonna read pretty soon. Then every time you go to read them, you just don't, for whatever reason. Whether it's they're too daunting or just not in the mood, you just never get around to them, or you start them and just you're like, no, I'll just read this later. So I do have a few books right here that my girlfriend's giving me the side eye, and I'm sure I'm gonna put this in like a blooper section, but she did interrupt my video. Or I'm gonna put it right here to give this any context.
Good afternoon, fine folks. This is my girlfriend, and she will be reading many books in this video. And she's here to talk to you about them before she reads them. And I'm here to interrupt. What are you gonna say about that?
Who said that's what I was doing?
Oh. That's exactly what you're doing.
I was just gonna intro the video. I don't know that I'm gonna read all of these in this video, but it's just a goal. And these are the 4 oldest books on my shelf, all of which I'm pretty sure I've had for over 4 years. Because, yeah, I know I've had them for at least 4 years. First, this is not what I'm starting with. These are all out of order. Actually, that's gonna stress me out. I don't know what the order is gonna be, but I'm gonna start with what I'm actually starting with. I'm starting with, this is backwards, and I took the dust jacket off. I'm starting with Ahsoka. I've been on a Star Wars kick recently. Ahsoka is my favorite character, and I've had this book for ages. This is the oldest book on my physical TBR, I'm pretty sure. Don't even know when I got this book, but I've had it for a long time. I started it, couldn't get into it, only got like a few pages in really, and I did start this today. I was gonna show you the bookmark, but it fell out. I'm only a chapter in, but it's just about Ahsoka after the events of Clone Wars. I'm actually not sure if this is still canon because they did release season 7 of Clone Wars. I'm gonna try not to spoil that. For any of you who haven't seen the Clone Wars, like my girlfriend, because we've started watching that together, would recommend the Clone Wars, would recommend anything Star Wars. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. And I've been really into it recently, so this makes sense as a starting point. I also have Last Night at the Telegraph Club. Had this for about 4.5 years. And it's a queer romance, like a sapphic romance. Around the time of during World War II, when there was Japanese imprisonment camps. I don't know the technical term, I'll put it on the screen. And one of the characters is, I believe, Japanese. And so it's, oh no, I lied. She is Chinese American, I just read the back. Catch-22, another World War II book actually, based off World War II. If you haven't heard of this book, it's basically the book where the phrase Catch-22 came from, and that basically has to do with, in this book, there are pilots, from my understanding, I haven't read it obviously, it's on my physical TBR. Basically, people who want to be the pilots are too insane to be them, so if you don't want to be one, you kind of have to be one. It's a Catch-22, that's what the Catch-22 is, for those of you who didn't know. And then the final book is The Woman in White. I actually picked this up because I was in a play of Sleepy Hollow, and part of my lines had to do with The Woman in White, and I have never read this. Picked it up at like a discount bookstore. It's pretty good condition, and just have never read it. This one's like 700 pages. Both this and Catch-22 I haven't read because they just seem very daunting. And I haven't been in enough of a mood to read them. And then the other book, Last Night at the Telegraph Club, I just haven't been in a mood to read it. Both this and Catch-22 I also have had for like 4 years. But without further ado, we'll get into the video. I will check back when I have more to say about Ahsoka. Okay, so we're about like a quarter way through this challenge because I kind of decided I didn't want to spend more than like 2 weeks on it. And despite not checking with you guys at all, I finished the Ahsoka book. I actually really liked it. I think I'm gonna give it like 4 stars. I thought it was really fun. I don't have any like gripes with it really. It just wasn't like a 5-star book. I'm sure I've talked about it before with like a 5-star book for me. It's kind of like a life-changing, like, oh my god, I'm gonna talk about this book forever. And this just wasn't that for me. There's nothing wrong with this book. I would recommend if you were into Star Wars and are totally fine reading a YA. I thought it was really good. I thought it was interesting. It definitely is a YA. It's written like a YA. The font is pretty big, but that kind of makes it a really easy read. I haven't read a YA in a hot sec, so that was nice. Characters are likable, like all the side characters. You get some like familiar faces, obviously, if you've watched Clone Wars, and the prequels. I would definitely say, if you're going to read this book, have a basic understanding of the main overarching Clone Wars plot lines, because it will be vastly spoiled for you if you do not. Like, Clone Wars will be vastly spoiled, and a lot of this book won't really make sense. I would also watch Rebels probably before this, even though this leads into Rebels. Would recommend if you like Star Wars. I also really liked Rebel Rising, which is Jyn Erso's story. Different author, but also Star Wars. 4 stars, pretty good. I'm going to be moving on probably today to Catch 22, and I will keep you updated, I suppose, about that. Also, if you're confused about the space and you haven't seen any of my other videos, I'm in my girlfriend's room. Put off this book for way too long. Don't know why I couldn't ever get into it, but I got into it now. I read it pretty quickly. But yeah, I will update you. I probably won't wait for the full book for this one. And I'll probably be a little more descriptive because I don't want to spoil this one. That's like, I can't even tell you the premise because it spoils shows and stuff, and I'm not trying to do that. This I'll be able to update you guys better, I think, with. So yeah, I'll see you when I see you. Okay, so I'm back. I know there hasn't been any B-roll, so you're probably confused. I decided not to read Catch 22 because it's very war novel, and I was not feeling that. I got sick. No motivation to read that already before I got sick, and so I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna switch up. We're gonna go to my other YA book last night at the Telegraph Club. I'm like 60 pages into this already, and I'm really vibing with it. Also, when I told you guys the premise of this book, I was completely wrong. It is not set during World War II. It is set during the 50s. So it talks about McCarthyism, and it makes a lot more sense that she's Chinese rather than, because I thought for some reason I had a misconception that this book was about like Japanese imprisonment camps during World War II. It's not. It's about McCarthyism and like the Red Scare and that sort of stuff. So that's actually what this book is about. It is still sapphic. That I was correct about, but yeah, thought I would clear that up. I've been enjoying it so far. I'm sure I will tell you more about it.
I would just like to say that, also I'm off camera. This is Allison, but I would like to say that I'm the one who got Boston sick. It's the coronavirus, and I would like to say, screw coronavirus, bro. I'm still dying, and I was sick first. This is not cool. Yeah, I hate COVID. It sucks. I also finished a book, but you don't have to know about that. It's okay. Actually, yes, you do. I finished Bonesmith. It was pretty good. I rated it 4.5 stars. And now I'm reading Nightshade and Oak by Molly O'Neill. Ah.
So I'm not gonna lie, I'm filming this like way after I did this challenge. The challenge was like a mild success. Out of the 4 books I showed you guys, I read 2. Granted, they were like the 2 easiest, and it took me like 3 weeks, because I'm not dedicating my whole life to books like some booktubers are. Let me tell you my thoughts on this book. This book was really good. I gave it 4.5 stars. I would highly recommend this book. Very good. There's a reason I think it was so popular. I'm trying to think of what to say, because it has been a little bit since I've read this, to be honest with you. but it was really good. I thought, you know, the characters were really likable. I thought the plotline made sense. I would say if you're going to read a book, like a queer book, and you're looking for like a happy ending, this is probably not the book for you. It does have a more bittersweet ending. I think it's a very realistic ending, especially given the time, and I think a lot of research went into this book, which I think really makes it amazing. But it is not that like happy ending kind of book. So keep that in mind if you're going to read this. But like I said, the ending is very realistic. But yeah, I enjoyed this book. I really enjoyed the Ahsoka book, and these are books I've had on my shelves for years, and I've been telling myself to read and to read and to read and just have been putting off. So I do think this challenge is something worth doing if you are putting off reading a book that you've owned for a while. There's probably a reason you bought it in the first place. So without further ado, I think I'm gonna end the video here. I actually have no clue how long this video was, probably not very long. I am going to be trying to release some new videos in the near future. I have a few on the docket, but yeah, hope you enjoyed this. Be sure to like, subscribe, do all that stuff the YouTubers tell you to do, and I will see you in the next one.